Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Call. I'm Dennis Green, and my guests are the mother-daughter Avita Duo, which is a piano and violin duo that tours internationally and has some exciting performances coming up. With me today is Ksenia Nosikova, and Ksenia is the mom in the mother-daughter duo. Welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
And the violinist who is coming to us from her practice room at Juilliard in New York is Katya Moeller. Katya, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Glad to have you both here. I'm excited to learn more about your history and your music. At the top, let's mention the local performance that is coming up, and that's March 4th, Tuesday, at the Opus Concert Cafe. That's how busy a performance schedule do you keep?
It's a busy life. We play together several performances a year, probably at least half a dozen or maybe a dozen, and then we each keep a very active kind of solo career and then collaboration with other musicians. I think Katya is on her way with her quartet to Austin this next week, and I'm on my way to Houston on Monday for solo performances, and then we meet in New York and we rehearse. So we do a lot of work together, but we also keep very active, independent performance lives.
Ksenia, you grew up in what was then the Soviet Union. You told me that you moved to the United States in 1991, just about the time that the Soviet Union was crumbling, attended school in Moscow, and you're now teach piano performance at the University of Iowa and chair of the piano department, yes?
Yeah, co-chair.
Yeah. So, Katya, that means that you started in the family business pretty early. When did you first take up the violin?
I didn't even pick up a violin. I picked up a cardboard box with a ruler sticking out of it when I was 4 years old, just to get the posture and the setup and get the feeling of holding a violin as a little child, because it's a weird position. So it took me, I think I was on that instrument for a couple of months, and then I was given a little tiny 1/16 sized violin when I started studying at the Brussels School, and I was there a good 6 years. And then I eventually started studying in Chicago. So I've been playing the violin for, quick math, 16 years.
And you said you trained and you spent a lot of time in Chicago then in your high school years. What was that like, getting on the road and dividing your time between Iowa City and Chicago to work on your instrument?
It was a totally special experience. I wouldn't have traded it for anything. I enjoyed the back and forth, and I think that the training that I got in Chicago was phenomenal. I'm forever grateful for my teachers, Almeda Vamos and Roland Vamos, and just the whole community there. And it was, I learned a lot, and being around like-minded musicians and people my age who are just as insane and dedicated and inspired by everything that they're doing. It was just like a great space. But I will say that COVID hit during that time, so we had a couple of years online, but that we made do, of course, as everyone did. I don't know, and with going back and forth, I thought about it as having divorced parents. Like, I would just never really unpack my bag. I was just always ready to go. My parents are very happy together, but it was, I just never unpacked my toiletries, and I would just live with my teacher on the weekends. So we created a very strong bond, and that was a special relationship. She was like my musical grandma.
Ksenia, what's the origin of this duo?
I started playing for Katya as a Suzuki mom when she picked up her cardboard box violin. We started doing the Twinkle Twinkle together. I would accompany her on her first book recital at the house. And so I was her pianist forever. And in some ways that was wonderful because I could influence and help her grow without being the main authority figure, because I still remember one time when she was practicing and I was there with her telling her what to do and what not to do. She got so fed up with me telling her how to play the violin. So she had the violin in her hand. She gave it to me and she said, "You do it." And at that moment, I shut up because I didn't know how to do it. I knew how to do it, but I couldn't do it because I'm not a violinist. And so I think that was the moment when the relation started changing because she was coming to her own terms. And the repertoire was getting harder and much more collaborative than just accompanying. And so when she started learning standard concert repertoire, that's when the idea of the duo came to my mind, because we already were a duo. She never had another pianist for many years. I think the first time she started playing with someone else, Kat, would you think it would be like
13?
maybe summer, like 30, like summer
Yes,
summer
yeah.
programs? Regularly, it would be me, always. And so then we were thinking of doing. That's when the idea started coming to fruition. It's okay. Are we capable of doing it? And at the beginning, I took some risk because she was so young, but she already played so well, and forming a professional duo was a risk on my behalf. But I believed in her and I believed in us. And right now it's a little bit different because we're apart. But when she was at home through high school, we would just go downstairs to the piano and we would read through things and then we would rehearse. So the change of the relationship for me is exciting right now because we're equal. I don't feel like I have to coach. I don't feel like I have to guide. It's totally equal input into the music making.
Katya, is that how you feel too? Do you feel that as time has gone by, you've become the equal partner in the duo?
Definitely. Maybe if not more, I think. I'm very opinionated and I don't know, I like to have discussions about music, and chamber music is incredibly important to me, and I think that there's so much to explore. And especially now that we don't necessarily learn the pieces together side by side sitting in the basement, and it's shifted to more of, okay, we learn our part on our own and maybe listen to performances and score study and get it in our ears in that way rather than like physically playing with each other. And then we come together with our own ideas fully formed, but now they're not like molded together simultaneously. There's just more room for discussion and like interpretation and trying new things. And I definitely was not thinking in those terms 4 or 5 years ago. It was very much because come to my lessons and we would play for a teacher and we were coached together. And I think now I have to have more self-direction, and I just feel like I'm smarter now and I know how to approach certain conversations, and it's definitely become more of a professional dynamic, which is interesting to navigate.
When did the Avita duo really become a going concern and went beyond just Ksenia, you accompanying Katya for different things, and you actually said, "Oh, this is what we are. We're going to go out and perform in public. This is going to be our thing."
It's that first paycheck. No, I'm kidding.
It's true. I think this is when the name starts getting established. You want to talk about our first recording together? So because that's, I think, yes.
Yeah, we recorded a CD of Lara Auerbach's music, in which we recorded her 24 preludes and a world premiere of it called A Skolky. And that was something that I had never experienced before. We were in the concert hall at Voxman in the University
During
of Iowa.
COVID,
Yeah, during
COVID.
COVID. And we spent just like 3 days recording take by take of these preludes, and we were just like so detail oriented and focused, and it was incredibly intense and took so much focus from the both of us. And I think there we really started thinking big picture.
And that's another, when you, because it was produced on a professional label in Germany, and of course I knew that it would be reviewed. And so when the first reviews started coming out, that's when I said, "Whew, we did it." Because they were all very exciting and all very positive. So that would, if you think professionally, that was probably the biggest kind of milestone for getting the name out.
The performance at the Opus Concert Cafe is a bit of a tune-up for the duo's New York debut.
That's true.
Where and when is that going to be?
So we'll be playing in April. Is it April 6 Sunday, and it will be in the concert series called Music on Madison. It's actually Madison Avenue in Manhattan. And so we will have a few performances. We're doing one performance in Opus Cafe. Then we always go to one of the retirement communities here in Iowa City, because this is where Katya kind of grew up, playing concerts. And so they're a big group of followers that sometimes cannot go out and come to the concert, so we go to them. And then we'll do a faculty chamber music recital at the university. And then Katya goes back to New York. I do my own thing. And then we'll meet in April, rehearse a few days, and then we'll do the New York debut.
Katya, what's going to be the repertoire for the programs?
We're playing a sonata by John Curigliano and Brahms' Second Sonata, and a piece by Joseph Suk titled Love Song, and
Bieber.
a Bieber. Heinrich wrote a set of pieces that are based on just like different animals, and it was a scientist's way of like categorizing different bird calls, so he was inspired by that. So it's like a story of different animals. It's called Sonata Representativa.
The Avita Duo will perform at the Opus Concert Cafe on Tuesday, March 4th. Tickets available the usual way through Orchestra Iowa at artsiowa.com. I want to thank you both for joining me. Looking forward to this concert, which is at the Opus Concert Cafe on the 4th. Again, artsiowa.com for tickets. And Ksenia and Katya, thanks again for joining me today.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you.
You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio most weekdays at 10:30, on demand at kcck.org/culture, or subscribe using your favorite podcast player. Watch our videos on the KCCK Facebook and YouTube channels. Our producer is Lydia Kilgore. The Culture Crawl theme is composed by Vivian Shanley. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.